Mikel Arteta sent a huge message to Myles Skelly. Some Arsenal fans probably forgot. Everyone knows he has a lot of talent, and he has played some of the biggest games for Arsenal in the last 2 seasons, in different positions, too. But due to one reason or the other, he was not playing much to start the season. In fact, until recently, Skelly was struggling for game time, and it looked like a surefire thing to see him leave in the summer in search for more minutes. Mikel Arteta sent a huge message to Myles Skelly. Some Arsenal fans probably forgot. However, in the last few weeks, MLS has been starting nearly every single game for Arsenal, and not even in the position that gave him prominence at the club. Mikel Arteta has been playing Skelly in his natural position, in midfield, and Arsenal's outlook has rapidly changed. Arsenal look like a much better team with Skelly on the pitch than off it, and people are not realizing just how quickly Arteta has realized this. In fact, in the game against West Ham, when Ben White was forced off the pitch with an unfortunate injury, Arteta put his best midfielder, Rice, in at right back, before even thinking of shifting Skelly to accommodate someone else. Skelly stayed in midfield for the entirety of the game, and his technique and physicality were crucial for Arsenal in their very scrappy 1-0 win over West Ham. It has taken a lot of time, but it is a reason to be genuinely happy that Arteta has realized this. Myles Skelly has a lot of potential, probably even more than Ethan Nwaneri, and even though everyone was happy with him playing left back last season, he operates so much more naturally as a midfielder. He brings that engine into the Arsenal squad and makes them tick as a team. Obviously, he's not at his best. That is a good few years into the future, but it is so clear that he is a genuine baller. Fans will obviously have their opinions on whether he should start or not, but if Arteta is willing to move his best player of the season out of position before he even thinks of shifting Skelly somewhere, you get the idea that he is happy where the young Englishman is playing at the moment. It remains to be seen how many titles MLS helps Arsenal win this season, but he will definitely have more opportunities next season than he did this time around, and it would be fully deserved. Arsenal struck late on to win 1-0 at West Ham and take a huge step towards winning the Premier League title, as his decision to stick paid off once again in midweek against Atletico Madrid. Mikel Arteta opted to field the same side that overcame the Spanish team and Fulham the game before. The Gunners went close to going in front through a corner when Leandro Trossard met Declan Rice's delivery to head toward goal, but it was saved by Mads Hermansen before his follow-up effort struck the post. Ricardo Calafiori then went inches away from putting his side in front, as a smart move ended in him firing from the edge of the box, but his strike curled away from goal and went just past the woodwork. David Raya came to his side's rescue minutes before half-time when Totti Castellanos met a cross with a diving header, prompting the Spaniard to dive and tip it out for a corner, ensuring the scoreline was goalless at the break. David Raya came to his side's rescue minutes before half-time when Totti Castellanos met a cross with a diving header, prompting the Spaniard to dive and tip it out for a corner, ensuring the scoreline was goalless at the break. Arsenal stepped up near the hour mark and began to pressure West Ham once again, swinging corners and crosses into the box while dominating possession in and around the area. However, nothing was paying off for the Gunners, so Arteta rolled the dice by bringing off Martin Zubimendi and Eberechies for Martinodegaard and Kai Havertz. West Ham found their feet once again and were denied by Raya in extraordinary circumstances, as Matías Fernández was played through on goal and looked destined to score, but the Spaniard stood strong and kept it out with what could be pivotal in the title race. It did prove to be crucial, as minutes later, Dedegaard smartly worked his way into the box before squaring for Trossard, whose strike deflected into the back of the net, sending his teammates and supporters into raptures. The North Londoners had their hearts in their mouths deep into stoppage time when Callum Wilson thought he had equalised for the Hammers through a corner, but a very lengthy VAR check saw the equaliser ruled out. Arsenal saw out the rest of the time to secure the huge 3 points and go into the final 2 games of the season 5 points clear at the top of the table. Here are the Gunners' player ratings from their 1-0 win at West Ham. Mikel Arteta faced the media, his Arsenal side battered Fulham 3-0 and moved 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. The display will be a massive boost for the players and, of course, the supporters too. Victor Gyökeres and Bukayosaka were the key talking points for their goal contributions. However, there was certainly a reason to give emphasis to Myles Skelly, who produced a fantastic midfield performance. The win gave the chance to rest players in the second half, when their opponents for midweek effectively rotated their entire team. The momentum, you would say, is firmly with Arsenal. Well, I'm very happy with the team performance, with the individual performances in that performance, because we knew how difficult it was going to be, especially coming back from Madrid so late on Thursday afternoon, and with the energy that we spent in that game, and understanding that you don't want to talk about it. You have a huge game in a few days here. But we talked about hunger, and about having the ability to focus and be so determined on what we had to do. And yeah, we had some fresh legs from a few players. You could notice that big time, because the individual performance increased, and then the team flowed in a different way. The moment that we did that, I think we engaged the supporters, and when that happens, and you create the atmosphere that you saw at the Emirates, we make it very difficult for that moment. Can I just point towards Myles Skelly, played in midfield today? There was a lovely moment at the end of the game. We saw you embraced him for quite some few seconds. It seemed like an emotional moment and a proud moment day for him. He fully deserves it. I've been tough on him. He had a spectacular season last year when he jumped into the first team. He had some difficult moments after that, but he stayed very humble, very focused, very aligned with what we wanted to do, and I knew he was ready. He's been showing in training every day the opportunities that he had to play. He's done it, and today he really stepped up, and I thought he had an incredible performance. The nature of the victory, the nature of the performance, playing with confidence, with a smile on the face of the players, no injuries it seems, able to wrestle players as well ahead of Tuesday. Has it been actually a really important game for all those reasons? It was a critical game, because we know the importance of the win, and the manner that we've done it, and the goal difference in the Premier League, and because this game was going to carry a lot of energy towards the next game, and it's certainly going to do that. And now we have one of the biggest games in the history of this stadium, for sure on Tuesday in front of our people, and we're going to try to make it happen.